with the camera there. The 28th Infantry Division, term is roll on. There's actually an obelisk, which is a salute to fallen soldiers. I will read that plaque, then we'll go by that, but I want to go on this, and then there's another little thing over there too, another memorial. We're right across from where the freedom or the gratitude train is, but this is National Guard, Pennsylvania National Guard base here at Indiantown Gap, and it shows what they all have done: war on terrorism, Bosnia, Central Europe, Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, Homeland Security, Mexican border, World War I, Iron Division, Champagne, Marne. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the next couple, but that was 1918, then Champagne and Lorraine, Bloody Bucket, World War II, Normandy, Northern France, Ardennes, the Rhineland, Central Europe, Central Pacific, Eastern Mandates, or Mandates, has probably a different pronunciation, Western Pacific, Korean conflict, NATO forces in Germany. And then we will go over here. There's some more memorials here, and once again, we're right across from the airfield. These type of memorials are just so important. In honor of the American Gold Star mothers for their sacrifice, service, and patriotism, a mother's tears were shed today for a battle long ago, her precious gift to a warrior son whose fate she'll never know. Not heroes, shiny medals for courage through their fears, no ribbon badge of honor can match a mother's tear. And that was written by Marcia B. Meggy. Here's another group of memorials. Sir Edgar Kohler, May 30th, 1964 to July 18th, 2011, Ghazni Province, Afghanistan, Operation Enduring Freedom. I believe that'd be Staff Sergeant, or I might be wrong on that. Brian Mowry, December 30th, 1961 through July 18th, 2011. Once again, the Ghazni Province, Afghanistan, Operation Enduring Freedom. And you see these coins that are left here, each one has different meanings, whether you knew them, you were with them when they died, and that type of stuff. And it has, you'll see those that have a lot of meaning. And this is Kenneth Wagensen, I might probably pronouncing that wrong, August 3rd, 1980, July 18th, 2011. Once again, the Ghazni Province in Afghanistan, the Operation Enduring Freedom. This is all across from that gratitude train. Now, never forget, this project is a tribute to all the men, women, and their families that proudly serve this great nation and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We must never forget these true patriots, past and present, who have sacrificed so much for the freedoms we enjoy every day. God bless them and their families. And this was done by an Eagle Scout project. And this is sort of cool. They have in the tables, they have all the different badges, like just really, really neat stuff there. Just a lot of thought went into this, and it's just really need to always value our military and what they do for us and the freedoms that we have because of them. And then we will go to the front of this and then go at last to the memorial to those of the fallen soldier. You see that on the battlefield so often, and then to see it in person. It is the 213th Regional Support Group. And then last but not least, this is the iconic rifle in the ground in between the boots with the helmet on top of the butt of the rifle. And it's symbolizing a fallen comrade, a fallen soldier, a fallen hero. Last but not least, we are back at the Fallen Soldier Memorial here. 2nd Brigade 281, or might be 28 ID, Fallen Warrior Memorial, which is this here, the obelisk. And you see so much like bullet holes going through the obelisk. And I will read this to you guys. But it stands 21 feet tall and it's echoing the 21 gun salute. The damaged steel represents the unique war the living fought and the fallen left behind. Steel plates cover all four sides of the pedestal, acting like armor, and hold the names of the fallen keystones made from different elements rest above the plates. One is polished steel, and when one sees their reflection, it represents the fallen warrior. Well, let's go over and see this here. Well, let's finish this. One is polished steel, and when one sees their reflection, it represents the fallen warrior inside all of us. Another is shattered ballistic glass to represent the conflict in which 228 BC was engaged. One is red stained wood to represent the blood our comrades have shed. Another is marble to represent the strength, resolve, and steady purpose of 228 BCT. So this is where you see your reflection, the soldier within all of us. And then here, once again, you see all the coins. And this would be the marble, which represents a resolve and strength. This is the red, blood stained, the sacrifice of our comrades, of our soldiers. And last but not least, the shattered ballistic steel, which shows the combat that they went through. And then you have the names of the individuals who have given their lives in sacrifice for all of us and for others that they did not know. It takes a very special person to do something like that. And these men and women who are represented here deserve our gratitude and deserve our honor and thanks.
So here we are at the plaque for the 2nd Brigade 28 ID Fallen Warrior Memorial. And it says the 2nd Brigade Combat Team 28th Infantry Division 228 BCT Pennsylvania Army National Guard was mobilized in January 2005 to support Operation Iraqi Freedom, known as the Iron Brigade. It marked the division's largest mobilization for combat since World War II. The 228th BCT consisted of military personnel from 31 states, 4,100 members strong, of which 2,143 were members of the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. Once deployed to Iraq, the 228th BCT was further task organized with the Marine and Army battalions and other combat support elements, bringing the brigade to over 5,400 soldiers, Marines, sailors, and Air Force personnel. The 228 BCT conducted full spectrum operations in Anbar Province, Iraq from July 2005 to June 2006 under the command and control of the 2nd Marine Division and then the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force forward. The 228th BCT Fallen Warrior Memorial was originally designed and constructed in Ramadi, Iraq, by the soldiers who served there. The base, Ramadi, it was originally erected in front of the 228 BCT headquarters at Ramadi and dedicated on Easter Sunday, April 16th, 2006. The memorial was disassembled and shipped from Iraq to the United States and was rededicated at Fort Indiantown Gap, PA on October 21st, 2006. The memorial honors the 82 fallen warriors who died as a result of enemy fire and one soldier who was a non-combat casualty. The history of the obelisk began over 5,000 years ago in Egypt, where it was built to protect and defend temples. The obelisk represents the soldiers' effort to protect and defend freedom. Sort of cool, because in a way, this obelisk is trench art. You look at a lot of stuff especially in the antiques world, trench war art, a lot of it, they had a lot in World War I because the guys were in these trenches, is where the trench art name came from. So they'd use any materials around them that they could to make whatever it might be, that, airplanes, all kinds of stuff they'd use, like the cartridge casings, a lot of cases, that's what they had available to them, along with scrap, machines that had been destroyed or that type of stuff. but it's highly sought after because, one, they're usually really brilliant things that these guys have made. You know, on the ships, the guys would make models of the ship that they were on, highly, highly detailed. And they're highly valued because, you know, a lot of people have a connection to war because they've served in the military, served in those wars. But it's a connection to these men. In World War One, like in particular, like I talked about, they had a lot of time in these trenches in between the skirmishes, and you know it was a hellish thing. And being able to make this trench art really gave them maybe a moment to go back to home. You know, the skills that they had from back home, the jobs that they had, and you know, World War II that continued as well because you had a lot of trench warfare, but the warfare was much more mobile than it was. Like World War One, we were just sort of in trenches in France. You know, you're 100 yards apart, and you just didn't move because warfare had changed in a very short period of time and become mechanized, and they didn't change their tactics. You know, the machine gun obviously was the big one, and you know, guys, it was just basically murder more than anything, and so they were stuck in these trenches, you know, and it was in between a little bit of a fire or a small offensive here or something of that nature, or worst of all, the gas attacks. So trench warfare made this trench art something that they did, and it is sort of neat. This obelisk is very much trench art in a lot of ways, you know, the newer version of it. And there is inside of this thing, which I'm going to read further on this plaque, but there is inside of this apparently the dog tags of these 80 some individuals that passed. And as we'll see when we go around this thing, there are on two sides, down on the bottom part of the obelisk, are the names of the individuals who had passed. I hadn't read this thing yet, so I didn't realize inside, hanging from the top, on the very top of the obelisk, is this ballistic glass, so the light shines down through, and it almost works a little bit if the wind's good enough because of all the holes through this symbolizing warfare. You can actually hear the dog tags hitting against each other, almost like a wind chime. And it's sort of one of those eerie things that when you hear it, it's like almost hearing their voices again. And it's the same thing up at the Flight 93 Memorial in Shanksville, out western PA, where the plane crashed. They have that Tower of the Winds, I think it's called, and it's just the way they have it designed as the wind goes through this thing. It's hard to explain unless you've been there, but it's a spine-tingling feeling, and because it connects you, I think, in a way, with those that have passed on. And though these soldiers did not pass at this spot, like in Flight 93, it's a connection that this was built over. Finding out that this was built over in Iraq, it's just very. I'm definitely going back and appreciate this a lot more now that I understand more about it and the symbolism and that type of stuff. The 228th BCT Memorial is made of iron, symbolizing the iron soldiers from the Iron Brigade. Additionally, it represents the history of Pennsylvania's iron and steel industry. Iron is also the most abundant element in blood, symbolizing the blood shed by our fallen warriors. The obelisk stands 21 feet, echoing the 21-gun salute. The damaged steel represents the unique war the living fought and the fallen left behind. Steel plates cover all four sides of the pedestal, acting like armor, and hold the names of the fallen. Keystones made from different elements rest above the plates. One is polished steel, and when one sees their reflection, it represents a fallen warrior inside all of us. Another shattered ballistic glass to represent the conflict in which a 228 BCT was engaged. One is red stained wood to represent the blood our comrades have shed. Another is marble, represented the strength, resolve, and steady purpose of the 228 BCT. Inside the obelisk, dog tags for each of the fallen comrades are suspended from chains. Light shines on them from the base of the structure skyward through the obelisk cap. The cap is made of shattered ballistic glass and acts as a window through which their souls will shine for eternity. As wind passes through the structure, the dog tags move with the wind suspended below them, creating a subtle sound like the quiet wails of the fallen as they continue to speak to us. Along with honoring our fallen warriors, this memorial is also a reminder that our country is a beacon of liberty that shines throughout the world and that we must stay strong. So this definitely is a very poignant memorial, very neat. So it's definitely one of those things we will return to at some point.
So with that, I'll say thanks for coming along on another adventure, coming to one of these memorials. It's really surreal. You come to these places and see the thought that goes into these monuments to remember our fallen soldiers, you know, these sons and daughters, and what people go through. These are people that somebody loved. They were fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, uncles, aunts, and when they're gone, they're gone. I mean, they never truly are gone. They always reside within our heart, but this really, it makes you think. It makes you think about how fortunate we are to live in a free country, and how fortunate that we are that these individuals are willing to lay down their lives. There's no greater love than when another is willing to lay down their life for you. It really is truly an extraordinary love, and a strength and resolve and a courage and an honor that really can't be explained in words. So thank you as always for coming along, and we will see you all about town. History is out there, my friends.